Hello, this is Sertaç Ersayın, President of International Designer Society of Turkey. I would like to thank Mr. Tevfik Balcıoğlu, Professor Tevfik Balcıoğlu, accepting us and sharing his valuable information about the definition of design or redefinition of design. We would like to hear his ideas about the definition of design. How many times it's defined, we don't know, but we wonder and we would like to learn more about Mr. Tevfik Balcıoğlu's presentation. Please, it's your turn, Mr. Balcıoğlu.
Thank you. Thank you, Sertaç. Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to share my ideas with you and with all world design community. Well, I don't think everybody is going to watching us, but anyway. Well, anyway, we have something common. We love design. I'm sure many people watching presentations at the World Design Assembly are also fascinated with design. Therefore, we share this common pleasure. Because of that, because of this passion of design, I would say, I look around and try to see different use of design in life. And I come across very interesting examples. One of them is this. I'm sure Turkish audience will smile immediately when they see this truck and the handwritten statement behind it. Well, I try to translate it into English, although it doesn't fit perfectly well, but let's do it. It says, you cannot design happiness. Either you enjoy it or watch others enjoy it. It's a great, isn't it? I'm sure after seeing this image, you smile. But when you smile, please be careful, because you will be entering into a different territory of design. It's called smile design. Yes, in these days, well, we design many things, and one of them is the smile. Look at this. If you have problems with your smile, with your appearance, with your face, of course, there are experts preparing you for a better look or for a better smile, I would say. And they do it. They do it scientifically, digitally. It's being photographed, designed, and prepared. So, well, you may think that, wow, everything is going to be designed or everything is designed. Yes, but you are not the only one saying this. Many people said so. And one of them is Paul Rand, an American graphic designer. And there was an exhibition about his work in New York, and it's called Everything is Design. Well, really, is everything design? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Actually, I have some, suspicion about that, I would say. Yes, there are many things in which we find design, but it doesn't mean that everything is design. Well, a colorist may say, well, everything is, colorful. Without color, well, we wouldn't have a world as such. Or a material scientist may say, oh, everything is material or composed of, cells. So it depends from which discipline you come from. But I think it's better to say, yes, there are elements of design in many things. Well, this is my safe interpretation. But where does it come from? It's a very bold claim, isn't it, to say everything is design? Well, actually, the idea comes from this gentleman, Herbert Simon. He is an economist, and he received a Nobel Prize in 1978. He wrote a book. It's called The Sciences of the Artificial, and published in 1968. And in this book, Herbert Simon writes about design. I read, everyone designs who devises courses of action aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones. everyone designs, who devises courses of action aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones. The intellectual activity that produces material artifacts is no different fundamentally from the one that prescribes remedies for a sick patient, or the one that devises a new sales plan for a company, or a social welfare policy for a state. Wow, such a bold claim. It says everything, including prescriptions, including a policy. Everything is design. Well, if we, let's say, designers, architects, or, well, craftsmen, saying this, people would probably object immediately. Wow, these architects, these designers, they are so arrogant, aren't they? They think everything is design, they would say. But no, this time, this definition comes from an economist and a Nobel Prize winner, Herbert Simon. So that silence, almost everybody in the States accepted that definition and using it in a different way. But I have some problems with this definition. I will explain you. Okay, this is the critical sentence, isn't it? Courses of action aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones. If you do so, if you change the existing situations into the one you prefer, that's design. Right, well, I ask question, first of all, action. All kinds of action? Are we talking about all kinds of action, or do we differentiate them? And the other critical word is preferred ones. Well, preferred by who? Preferred by who? I'm puzzled with this, and I'll give you some examples now that I'm sure you will understand what I'm thinking about. Look at this. Look at this scene. These are terrorist acts. Happened in Paris, in Istanbul, in Nice, in Ankara, in Brussels, normally in 2015, 2016, 5-6 years ago. And many people were killed. Now, these are actions. These are actions by terrorists, okay? And these are preferred actions by them, not by us. So that's the problem I have with this definition. And I decided to, well, rewrite the definition from my own perspectives. Well, you know, when you are experienced enough, you feel more daring. You begin to, you know, make big statements. So I said, okay, now it's time for me to make a big statement as such and define what design is. And I found a sentence, right. For me, design is a mode of intervention into the environment. Design is a mode of intervention into the environment. There are critical words in it, like the environment, for instance, intervention, mode, and design. Let's look at them one by one. The environment. What do I mean by environment? Well, for me, everything beyond the skin is environment. Oh, you're making, how come? I'll give you some examples. This one, for instance, Odile Dec. Odile Dec, I'm sure many of you know, is a very famous French architect. She designed Macro Museum in Rome, 2007, amongst many others. But we happen to know each other. She came to Izmir. We worked for a project together for a while. In the meantime, I did these photographs. And then I realized that actually she was making a statement, you know, with her hairstyle, with her dresses, and she loves black and red, as you see in her architecture as well. She uses this color, and her appearance is a good sign, a good reference, a good statement made to the environment, right? But she's not alone. In my experience, there are other ways of contributing to the environment through design beyond the skin, like just on the skin, actually. You see, these artworks are also part of the environment, and the skin is the key territory, I think. Well, sometimes I think maybe not. Maybe it's further than that. At that point, I remember of Orlan. Orlan is a very famous French artist. She is using her body to make her art. She takes operations. She goes from one operation to one surgery to another. And in one of them, she reads her poems and makes statements. But her artwork is her body. You can see how she changed from 1992 to 2004. Right. So even body here, even not only the skin, but maybe something, well, inside the skin, there are also elements of design. Our friends, doctors probably will tell us more about that. But this is this kind of internal body design that we are not able to see often. Well, so let's go back to our definition. Design is a mode of intervention into the environment, and environment, I said, beyond the skin. Now, another critical word is intervention. Intervention. So what kinds of intervention? There are two kinds that well, there are many, obviously, but for me, from my point of view, there are two. One is destructive one. Yes, destructive interventions that we do into the environment. For instance, industrial waste, for instance, terrorism, for instance, nuclear experiments, an experience, of course, in Japan, or forest fires, or sea pollution, or mining, you name it. So these are the destructive intervention into the nature, into the environment. The other one is constructive one. When I say so, I refer to design, city design, vessel design, architectural design, car design, or interior design, product design, fashion design. We can continue to count ceramic design, hair design, jewelry design, engineering design, lighting design, and graphic design, well, landscape design, environmental design, glass design, and on and on and on. So these are the constructive way of intervention into the environment. Okay, but intervention cannot be done on its own. There must be some kind of means of intervention. So what are these means? Materials, devices, work machines, equipments, tools, and sometimes our hands. Think of a craftsman, a pottery maker. He is using his hands to create his own design and making it. So intervention there, well, sometimes our natural body, but sometimes, of course, or many times, of course, we use, sophisticated appliances. So another critical word is mode. Mode. What is mode? Mode, according to dictionary definition, a way and manner in which something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done. A way and manner in which something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done. Right. Then a way, what kind of way? Immediately it comes to my mind that methods and techniques. Without methods and techniques, we cannot intervene into the environment properly. So these methods and techniques are derived from science, technology, art, knowledge, skill, experience, tradition, and so on and so on. Okay. And the other critical word is manner. The manner. Well, the manner derives from our cultural, social, ideological, strategical, philosophical, traditional experiences, aspirations sometimes. Well, I'll give you an example. I was watching a TV, well, a few years ago, and I seen a Japanese chef, a cook, And he was comparing the Western chefs with the Japanese one. He said, the way you use knife is different than ours. When we are using knife in the kitchen, we are using it towards our body. But in the West, you are using it the other way around. That was interesting. I looked at examples, and I found on the internet, actually. So this is a traditional manner, a different way of using, knife, for instance, in kitchen. This is also, a mode of intervention into the environment with a manner, traditional manner, I would say. Now, this definition that I gave to you, design is a mode of intervention into the environment, is a very generic one. It's an umbrella term. So you can see how I am trying to fill the gaps with lots of new areas, right? So you can take this as it is, and you can develop it. That's what I'm doing it, actually, sometimes by giving examples like that, a traditional manner of peeling vegetables, for instance. Now, then of course, the main word is design. Why do we design? Why do we design? Why do we design? Of course, we are motivated. There are some motivations. And where does it come from? Well, they come from the needs. Of course, if there is no need, why would we design? Okay? And the needs are various. Of course, we all have different kinds of needs. We have first natural, physical needs, of course, to survive. And then we have personal needs, or political, social, ideological, technological, scientific, economic, artistic, etc., etc., etc. So that is the entire scheme, how I look into the realm of design, actually. As I said, this is a very general expression, and it can be taken and used for separate design areas. But design is an umbrella term for me, covering all kinds of activities, including the architecture, interior architecture, and all the others. Right. So, therefore, I'm convinced that as a umbrella term, design is a mode of intervention into the environment. Now, you can, obviously, as I said, incorporate many other concepts into it. Let's take this mode of intervention. How do we do that? Well, it could be creative, it could be innovative, it could be sustainable, or environment friendly, or user friendly. These are the concepts we are using today, but these are the way we intervene into the environment. So you can add it up, or you can, for instance, look new concepts, new needs of today's world. Bitcoin, blockchain, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, metaverse. Yeah, these are new needs, aren't they? Well, whether we can justify it as a natural need or not, that's another issue. Some may say that no, we don't need them. Well, that is arguable, of course. But there are people working for these purposes, and of course they need new designs. Therefore, this scheme can be used for different purposes to analyze and understand different versions of design. For instance, well, architecture. Well, we know the architects love their profession. I'm an architect, by the way, so I know some designers don't like architects, but I'm an architect, and I thought I still teach design students, no problem, personally, on that. But architecture also change a lot, and architectural design has been used for decades. So design is part of architecture, of course. Now, so how will we define architecture based on my definition, right? So I'm saying this: architecture is a mode of intervention into the environment. Yes, because we build something, we make a statement, it's there, but with a very specific characteristics of architecture, which is making space. Without space, architecture, I believe, does not exist. So in this particular example, the famous architect Kengo Kuma is not only creating a space interior, but also creating a space outside the building. The passageway is also a defined space, isn't it? It's a very good architectural piece. I like that. Anyway, now what about interior architecture? Now, this is Zaha Hadid's work, again from Rome, Maxi Museum, the interior from the refectory or the canteen or cafe or study area all together, and library, whatever you call it. It's an integrated space in that sense. And how will we define it? Well, I found a solution for that. I'm using still the same template of mine. I'm saying interior architecture is a mode of intervention into the enclosed environment. So that's important for interior architecture. It comes from the name, isn't it? Interiors, we say. Well, done. That's it. We don't need to look for another substantial, definition for that. Yes, this is a famous interior design by Chancellor René Mackintosh, designed in 1901. But I understand it's recently being built. Right, beautiful art piece. Okay, let's go back to industrial design. Industrial design. So what will we say about that? Look, these are all industrial design products, aren't they? Bicycles, typewriters, wheels, buckets, violins, guitars, whatever you name. Yes, these are mass-produced, or maybe not violin actually, mass-produced objects, many of them. So that's the main characteristics for me. Industrial design is a mode of intervention into the environment via mass-produced objects. That's how I use this template to understand different kinds of design areas. And it's obviously open to elaboration, development with new concepts. But this definition provides me with a very substantial ground on which I can build many other definitions, which are very useful for my understanding of life, environment, design, etc. Well, I think that's it. That's the point I would like to stop. And I would like to thank you for your attendance.
Thank you so much, Tevfik Hocam. So design is a mode of intervention into the environment via mass-produced products. As you are saying, this is another contribution to the definition of design. We can talk and we can discuss more about it. But since we have a limited time, thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution. Hope we keep in touch and we can talk and discuss more together. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
If there is, yes, we can go on. Maybe it can be asked via YouTube channel. So we need to double check the YouTube channel. I believe that at least Gizem can make it, or I can also follow up.
Well, I'm now right.
Let's see.
Okay. Do you hear me?
As far as I see, there is no any
questions.
Question for the moment.
Okay. Thank you so much for and I will be pleased to answer any questions they have later on. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity of expressing my ideas. And I hope people who are watching it will find it useful, practical, and enjoyable, of course.
Yes, thank you so much for your inspirational contribution, Tevfik Hocam. So be sure that please we will go on and keep in touch for discussion of this matters together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.